Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. So you probably have heard in the past about hashtag Bond Fitness Challenge. This is something I started years ago. It was a little bit before the pandemic, but it really hit a lot of relevance for people during the pandemic where they could focus on their health and wellness, getting in the best shape of your life. And it happened to be running up to the new Bond movie at the time, No Time to Die. But people followed it along, and it really helped a lot of individuals to sort of get a process and a methodology behind getting in the best shape. This video is a reboot. Call it an updating, if you will, of the hashtag Bond Fitness Challenge. We're going to have an incredible series over this year of different approaches to getting into fitness, Bond fitness, Bond style. We're going to be using Bond in the world of Bond, the application, food, nutrition, people from the world of Bond, experts. This video is to really motivate you to follow along in our journey. Now, we're going to break this down into 4 very simple steps because I like simplicity. It helps me to get organized, helps me to keep it all straight, and I think this will be helpful for you. So first things first, number 1, we've got to talk about the why. Now, if you're not new to this channel, you know that I always start with the why with a lot of different things, but it's really important when you're going to be focusing on Bond Fitness Challenge to say, why? Why should you even look at your particular fitness? And different people have different whys. For me, it started years ago in saying, you know, Daniel Craig is about my age, but he looks amazing. And I don't look amazing at the time. Back in my 30s, I was a kind of a doughy, atrophied individual, just wasn't working out. It's not like I was in terrible shape, but I wasn't focused on my fitness. And I did use Bond as my why. I did. I said, I want to look like that. I can look like that. I'm the same age and sort of the same structure. Why can't I possibly look like that? And I did not look like that. So that kick-started my journey. The why behind you do this is so vital. Now, my why has changed, and maybe your why has changed. Over the years, it's no longer to look like Bond. It's to look like the best version, feel like the best version of myself, to get into really great health as I approach my late 50s. So yeah, I'm 56 years old right now, and I think I'm doing pretty good, but it's only because I've kept my why in my head. Some people's why is a little bit more medical than that. It's you've gotten to a place in your life, and maybe this is you, and you've got to be honest about this, where you've become really out of shape. Now, we're not here to body shame anybody. We're not about that at all. But it is a scientific and medical fact that if you are out of shape, it taxes your body. You have more cardiovascular issues. You could have diabetes. You could have pulmonary situations, etc. So there are so many what I call comorbidities in the pharma world, different things that can happen to you and your health and your wellness when you are not fit. And then some people's why is just because they're competitive with themselves. They want to see if they are disciplined enough to follow a particular new process to get into that best shape. So start with your why. What is your why? And by the way, we're going to play a little game here because I want people to be motivated. I want people to be inspired after this video. So if you could do me a favor and write your why down there, and it could be, I want to look like Daniel Craig. I want to look like, more like Bond than I do myself today, or I want to be a better version of myself. Whatever it is, write your why down there. But don't hit enter yet because there's going to be a couple more things. So the second thing that's really important about is you cannot outrun a bad diet. So we are going to be talking about nutrition. And I'll tell you a quick little story. Some of you may know this because I have a video up about this, but I've had to reboot my nutrition. My nutrition's gone like this over the years. I've been pretty good. I live with Danielle, who is celiac. She's dairy-free. She doesn't like preservatives. So the house is incredibly healthy. But Like I said, in my early 30s, a little doughy because of some of the dough and some of the things I was eating. Today, I have actually rebooted myself. I started with a water fast. Now, I don't recommend this for everyone. This is me not preaching like water fast, water fast. But I did do a 3-day water fast where all I drank was water, hot water, cold water, water. And I took a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. And I didn't do it to lose weight. I did it to take down inflammation that I was having. The inflammation, I don't know if you can see here, is definitely down. It went down all around my body, my face, everywhere, my stomach, my lower back. And I also, side effect, I lost 7 pounds. And I did this not because I wanted to lose weight or even just the inflammation. I needed to do something extreme to get myself back into the focus of my health and wellness because it was wavering a little bit. I was traveling a lot. I was using excuses, a little sneaky food here and there, and a lot of processed sugar. Now, that was weeks ago. And a lot of people asked, David, did you keep the weight off? What's happened post that? Well, I used that sort of kickoff again to inspire me to rethink my diet. So still doing a good amount of protein, but I've upped significantly my vegetable count. Salads, lots of salads and healthy greens. I did lower my fruit intake, not an abysmal level, but I did lower it a little bit. But man, oh man, processed sugars, chocolates, desserts, and things like that. I do still have a little taste here and there, but I have reduced that significantly. And I know you're going to say, David, this is a Bond channel. What are you doing to me? Alcohol. I've reduced my alcohol intake to a few times during the weekend, not really that much during the week. So all I'm saying is we're going to be covering on this channel nutrition. Things that worked for me, but things that also worked for people that have played James Bond. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Daniel Craig and his nutrition and what could you follow and what should you follow based on your own personality and lifestyle from a nutrition standpoint, because people have the hardest time with this. There's so many times where I have people say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. Well, I just had a couple beers and I kind of slipped. That's fine, but go back to your why. See, when you slip in one phase, you got to go back to the other phase or step. So when I slip with my nutrition, or I'm about to have that piece of dessert, or I'm out and I'm like, do I need to eat all this bread or any of the bread? I say to myself, why are you doing this? And for me, I'm just trying to get into the best version of myself, and that's not going to help me to get there. Now, the third thing we're going to be talking about, number 3, is we've got to talk about fitness. And what I mean by fitness is we've got to talk about workouts and exercise and movement. Now, for some of you watching this right now, realistically, you're not going to sit there and start benching, and you're not going to sit there and do, the hits and P90X3 like I do. You're not going to do that. Movement, just some sort of movement. Maybe you have a stagnant job. Maybe you're not moving that much at all. Maybe you're watching this at a computer and, you just want to stand a little bit and get a little bit of activity. The warmer weather is coming up and you need to get outside. So we're going to be talking about all types of activities. It's not just going to be about, throwing the weights around. I mean, that is great, and I do that. I subscribe to the fact that weight-bearing exercises are the secret to my success of how I feel and I think how I look today. It is. It's weight-bearing. I'm sorry, it is. I lift weights. But I also do pull-ups, I do push-ups, I do a lot of isometrics where you're kind of balancing on one foot and like doing all types of like crazy things where you're like just about falling over. So we're going to be talking about the things again that work for me, but also that work for Bond and the Bond actors and maybe even other actors. And yes, we're going to have some celebrity fitness gurus, as I call them, trainers, on the show, back on the show. We're going to revisit some of our old friends, quite frankly, that have helped us on this journey. So the activity is going to be an important part of it, but, and everybody loves to throw these percentages around. Well, you know, diet 70% and activities 30%. I don't know what the percentages are. You know what they say. 10% of all percentages are made up. See? That's ironic is what you call that. So we just want to focus on having a balance. All right. You can't have one without the other. You can't have a good fitness and health without the why. You can't do it without the nutrition, and you certainly can't do it without the movement and the exercise and balance, all those things that disappear and lower your energy level as you get older. And the fourth one, we're going to keep this really simple, I told you, is this. Exactly what we're doing. If you do nothing after this video and you walk away and you're like, I'm a little inspired by this. I think I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna go walk around, or I'm gonna, maybe take one less cookie out of the cookie jar. Inspiration. What motivates you? And so the fourth one is motivation, and it's different than your why. So the why is your hub. It's your center of why you are doing this to begin with. It is your core. It is your truth. Motivation is all of the input and inspiration you get from outside and inside sources. So let's talk about outside sources. My suggestion, my heavy, heavy suggestion is, if you are starting on the Bond Fitness Challenge, tell somebody or engage somebody, or better yet, take somebody from the Bond community that you know and do it with them. Say, hey, did you see Zaritsky's video on Bond Fitness Challenge? You interested in doing this? I figure I could tell you what I'm eating. You could tell me what you're eating, tricks of the trade. How are you doing? When I slip, I'll let you know. When you slip, you let me know. We'll encourage each other. Don't get down. And this way you have somebody to do it with. You're motivated. You have this motivation. Some people even use mood boards. What the heck is a mood board, David? Why are you getting all agency on us? Well, mood boards are visuals. They could be digital, they could be physical visuals of things they want to obtain if they get to their particular fitness and wellness goals. For example, you could look like a particular actor. We've done this before. I did it, right? Daniel Craig. I want to kind of look a little bit closer to that. Or maybe it's to wear a particular outfit that you can't fit into. Maybe it's an old pair of jeans that you can't fit into that you're trying. So mood boards can create this motivation to understand what are the benchmarks. How do you take a look and read forward for all these things that you want to do? So motivation can be internal and it can be external, and we're going to be talking a lot about that. All right. So 4 steps. 4 really simple steps that we're going to be covering in this reboot of the hashtag Bond Fitness Challenge. But it is a challenge. It's a challenge every single day. It's a challenge every moment, drinking more water, staying away from certain foods, making sure you have physical activity, making sure that you're motivated, and understanding and starting with something so simple and yet so challenging, and that is your why. What is going to be driving you to do all these things and changing habits? It's hard. Changing habits is very hard, but the challenge is there. And the other challenge is we're going to do this together. Oh yeah. You see, down below, I'm asking you to kind of raise your hand if you're up for this challenge. If you want to do this as a community, we're going to be following this on Instagram and Facebook and even Twitter. But especially on YouTube, we're going to have these videos and series, and follow along with the different steps. How are you doing? And share how you're doing. Share the accomplishments. Motivate and be a motivator to other people. That's part of the Bond style. It's part of the Bond way, is to have those heroic moments. And when you fail or slip and fall forward. Meaning just accept it, own it, and then let's move on together. Because it's onesie weather out there. It's bikini weather out there. And we want to get into the best shape of our life for mind and body. It's just going to make us feel more energetic and happier. And those are some of the reasons to do it. There we go. little bit of reboot discussion, setting expectations, 4 easy steps. Anybody can remember them. And by the way, for those of you out there saying, I'm of a certain age or proclivity, or I'm too busy, I'm a father, or I've got 13 jobs, whatever the excuse is, neutralize it. Neutralize it. Does Bond make excuses? No, he just does. He is action oriented. Jeez, David, relax. So let's you and I be action oriented with the Bond hashtag fitness challenge. It's not right, David. It's hashtag Bond fitness challenge. I'm not editing that. I'm human. Anyway, let's do this. This has been David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Talk to you soon. Cheers. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.